Hello everyone, DonTheCrown here, and I want to do a quick little crafting tips and tricks video for you. Because I know a lot of people that are either struggling for resistance, struggling to make money, or just don't really know what to craft. And there's probably a resource that's like sitting in your stash that you don't really know what to do with, and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks for this. So the resource that I'm talking about here specifically is essences. And these have two different types. You have little essences and you have the big boy essences. Now what this does is it makes a normal item into a magic one with one mod of a particular type. And so defense mods are things like evasion, energy shield, armor, magic with one mana modifier will be a mana related, life, yada, yada, yada. And the ones you really want to look out for here are life, defense, and then fizz, fire, cold, lightning, chaos. All of these are really good, especially when you're crafting rings. And the reason why rings are very, very powerful to craft on here is because of another piece of technology, which is called a catalyst. What catalysts do is they add quality to a ring or an amulet that multiplies the modifiers that are on there. And so the maximum quality is 20%. And we can see here that on this ring, for example, I have lightning modifiers on there. It has 15%, which is changing the 28% lightning res here up to 32. So I'm getting an additional 4% lightning res on the ring. And down at the bottom, I'm also getting from 21 up to 24. So I'm able to get more resistance on this particular ring. And if I was a lightning user, I could also potentially have lightning damage on this as well and really be triple dipping, right? So what you want to do when you find a ring that is white is try to pair this up with either life, which is either going to give you like flat life, life regen, or life leech, or you want to go and use the same element. So we have lightning resistance and you have lightning modifier here. And this is probably going to end up being lightning damage, but it could end up being like big lightning res. And it actually turned to be all elemental res, which is, I think, the GOAT. And this is really, really good. And you might be wondering, Don, how do I know what the tags are on this particular mod? If I press Alt and I hover over, I can see what all the mods are. Now in PoE1, this used to be something you could see right away, and they kind of hid it away. I don't really like this per se, and it's kind of hard to know what all the tags are right now. But as you can see, this is elemental, fire, cold, lightning, and resistance. So ideally, this thing could really go crazy if we got the right mods here. So we're going to replace this one out here. We're just going to hit it with an orb of augmentation, and now it has flat evasion rating tier 8. This is actually not a bad outcome. Now this is the point where you might go and regal this. However, if we really wanted to be cheeky and we were really trying to craft a great piece of gear, we could go and use one of these right side essences. Now these are pretty rare right now. I've only dropped 2 and I'm farming like tier 14, tier 15 for the last, I don't know, 17-hour stream. So yeah, they're pretty rare. However, what this does is it upgrades a magic item to a rare with one of these modifiers. So if I went over here to Alva, you'll see that what I'm talking about with these being very expensive. So we go to electricity and I go to exalted orb. We can see right now they're like 1 to 7. So it would be about 7 exalts, which is pretty high for sure. But to kind of give you guys a feel for this, I will just buy one and we'll show it off here. So ideally, perfect universe, when we slam this on here, we're going to get elemental resist, lightning. And then that would let us have lightning, all res, lightning. And that would be incredibly awesome here. We'll see what happens. And instead we got lightning damage, which is really not the end of the world. I'm sure that somebody could use this. Now you could sell this as is, and it is maybe a little bit difficult right now for you to actually figure out how much this is worth. But I'm going to show you a trick for price checking that you can use that basically is going to replace something that they took away from us. So basically, if we are on PoE 1, trade here, which I'll go show you real quick. If you're on PoE1 trade, we look at pseudo total res. I can see total elemental res here, right? This shows right up. But if we're on PoE2 trade, nothing found. They've removed quality of life from us. They've made it harder for us to price check items. But we're going to get around that by going here to weighted sum. And we're going to go squiggly resist. We're going to pick cold. We're going to pick lightning. We're going to pick chaos res. We're going to pick fire res. We're going to pick to all elemental resistances. We're going to put weight of 1 on all of these except for the to all elemental resistances, because this gives us 3 for every point. So we go to 3 here. And I can go and be like, hey, so this ring has 45 plus 23 at the top. I don't know what that math is. It's like 68. So I can go and be like, hey, I want something that has 60 on a ring over here. And this will show me only rings that have that. Now this is actually counting just the explicit here, which is not exactly what we have. So we can actually go and put that in as well. So explicit resist. And by putting the squiggly in the front, oh, implicit, sorry. By putting the squiggly in the front, it like allows you to basically not be perfect text with the words you're putting in here. And fire res. So once again, we're gonna put 1, 3, 1, 1, 1, and now we can go look and see. So we can see that something like this is probably maybe around 1 exalt or something like that. So probably not necessarily worth throwing that slam on there, which is kind of a little bit unfortunate. But if we had gotten something like double lightning res, that would have been very, very high up there. And this could potentially even be good with something like, we just look for evasion rating. We put in like 120. There's nothing that shows up. So we look up 100. There's nothing that shows up. Is evasion rating just bugged? What does this say? +2 to evasion rating. And I know what you might be thinking. Oh man, that cost you a lot of money and it's not even worth anything. Yep, that's what happens quite a bit when you're crafting your own gear. And that wasn't really necessarily the greatest particular example in order to roll for that. Like I said, if we had hit the life, if we had hit the particular res that we were looking for, that would have been a lot better. But you know, it kind of is what it is in this case. So even this ring is kind of okay for right now. So worst case scenario, you could just like slam some more exalts into it, see what happens, and you know, or you could just sell it for like 1 exalt. I'm gonna slam it. We'll see what happens. So we got rarity, that increases the value, I think. We got cold damage, that doesn't help, and we got life regeneration. So I think probably overall this thing's gonna come closer to like 2 exalts. So we wasted some money for a video. It doesn't really matter. We can get more exalts, no problem at all. And hopefully this taught you a little bit. Now I am going to put a link to this particular search in the description down below so that you can just yoink this. But I would recommend kind of like going and figuring out how this works for yourself. You will need to fill in here the weighted sum of how much resistance you're looking for, and probably make some adjustments for yourself as well, and like add other filters, including stuff. But this is a good first start type of filter. And yeah, hopefully they add back the different search options that have taken away from us. Like I talked about before in my other video, they're actually hiding some jewel mods from us. So we can't even search for them on trade right now. And it's not really clear what's going on with this stuff. Like this is features that were built into PoE1 search that seemingly have been intentionally stripped away for PoE2, which I am definitely not a fan of. Hopefully this video helps you out. Let me know, come by the stream and say hi. Later.